Friends, today we will deliberate on the five major poets during the Romantic movement in literature. As you know, that broadly speaking, the period of English literary history from 1798 to 1850 is called the period of Romantic Age or the period of English Romantic movement. During this period, the period which is called the golden period of English poetry, there were five major poets, and the seniormost of these five poets was William Wordsworth. Second was S.T. Coleridge. Third one was P.B. Shelley. Then we have John Keats on fourth number, and the last major poet of this movement was Lord Byron. These five poets were just like five finest flowers in the garden of English poetry, who had decorated it with their own beauty and fragrance. William Wordsworth, who is regarded as the pioneer of Romantic movement in literature, was a great nature poet. At the outset, I would like to clarify that all these five poets were unique as far as their poetic outlet or the poetic expressions are concerned. William Wordsworth is called the father of English Romantic poetry. Every one of us knows William Shakespeare, that he was a great nature poet. His main domain was the poetry on nature itself. As far as S.T. Coleridge was concerned, he was a poet of supernatural. Then we have P.B. Shelley, who was just a prophet, and as a lyrical poet, even today he is famous all over the world. Then we have the youngest exponent of Romantic movement in literature, John Keats, a great lover of beauty, who declared that beauty is my passion, beauty is my religion. And then the last poet, Lord Byron, he himself was regarded as a great titan. Now, it is very important to discuss here that towards the close of classical 18th century, the history of English literature witnessed a revolutionary metamorphosis in its poetry. It was the year 1798 that the publication of the novel document, that is Lyrical Ballad, emancipated the poetic spirit of England from the thraldoms of classical orthodox art. As we have seen that the period from 1798 to 1850 is called the period of Romantic movement in literature. Again, you will ask me the question, why 1798? I would like to impart you that it was the year in which the Lyrical Ballad, which was jointly published by the pioneer of Romantic movement, William Wordsworth, and S.T. Coleridge. That's why It is admitted that the Romantic movement in literature had begun in 1798. And why 1850? Again, I will like to share with you that this was the very year in which the father of English Romantic poetry, William Wordsworth, passed away. You know that he was passed away on 25th April 1850, and that's why the year 1850 is regarded as the formal end of the Romantic movement in literature. As far as William Wordsworth was concerned, he was a great nature poet. It is pertinent here to note that all these five major poets share the common traits. The first trait of Romantic movement in literature was the worship of nature. William Wordsworth himself firmly declared that nature is my mother. He regarded nature as a teacher. And so we get the glimpses of this love of nature among the Romantic poets when William Wordsworth says that one impulse from vernal wood may teach you than the thousand sages can. In his opinion, nature is a great teacher of mankind. Again, he says that nature never did betray the soul, nature did never betray the heart that love her. And that's why almost all the Romantic poets worship Mother Nature. In the case of S.T. Coleridge, he supernaturalizes the nature. He was a poet of supernaturalism. And so, we find the echo in the poem Kubla Khan when he says that a savage place as holy and enchanted as ever beneath a waning moon was haunted by a woman wailing for her Devon lover. Again he says that about the nature that, O lady, we receive, but what we give, in our life alone does nature live. It is clear that the poetic output of S.T. Coleridge, the supernatural poetry, in his own words, we may sum it as it was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with the caves of ice, as he clarified that in the poem Kubla Khan. Then let us come on P.B. Shelley. P.B. Shelley was a great prophet, and the lyrical intensity of his poems was so great that he is regarded as the supreme lyricist of the total era. Then we have the youngest exponent of Romantic movement, John Keats, who firmly declared that a thing of beauty is joy forever. He was a great lover of beauty. For him, beauty was all in all, and that's why he declared that beauty is truth, truth beauty. And when we come to Lord Byron, a very handsome poet who was regarded as the titan of Romantic movement in literature. If we see the influences on this poet, the first influence was of Rousseau's teaching. The slogan of Rousseau, Return to Nature, was the center point from which all these five romantic poets had derived their inspiration as far as the love of nature is concerned. Then the second unique trait of this poet, that their poetry was highly imaginative. A free play of imagination is the main characteristics of this particular age. And again, when we discuss about these five romantic poets, we come across with very important issue, that the life of all these romantic poets was full with some sort of sorrow. Maybe it is personal or it is somewhat in general. And that's why it appears that all these poets were happy to declare that our sweetest songs are those that tell us of saddest thought. And that's why we see a strain of sadness, a strain of melancholy running through the poetic output of all these five poets. For example, P.B. Shelley says that he requests to the wild west wind that, oh, lift me as a lift, a cloud. I fall upon the thorns of life, I bleed. A heavy weight of hours has chain and board one to like the tameless, swift and proud. We see the sadness in the life of John Keats. He himself was a patient of tuberculosis. His young brother, Tom Keats, died of the same thing. We get the glimpses of this sadness in a very famous poem, Ode to a Nightingale, where John Keats says that he addresses to the nightingale and says that, thou hast not borne for death, immortal bird, no hungry generation tread thee down. In this way, we get a strain of sadness which was common trait to all these five romantic poets. Again, we see that English romantic poems was a revolt against authority and a sort of slavery in the field of politics, in the field of literature, and in social phenomena also. That's why we get some hints in the poem French Revolution by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth himself was a great advocate, staunch supporter of the liberty to man, liberty to every human being. And so he himself had participated the French Revolution, because in his opinion, French Revolution is functioning to bring an era of liberty for mankind. And so he declared that bliss was in that dawn to be alive, and to be young was very heaven. He advocated liberty from the bondages established by the former age, that is classicism, in the field of literature itself. And that's why a staunch supporter of the liberty and freedom of the common man, he had selected rustic language rustic diction for the purpose of poetry. William Wordsworth was a great poet of nature, and that's why it is many times said that Wordsworth's poetry is an act of consecration around the Daleman's cottages. He says that as the doors of the huts and the houses of the common people living in close company with nature are always open, in the same way their hearts are also always open. And in this way, he advocated the language of common people for the purpose of poetic composition. As far as S.T. Coleridge was concerned, he supernaturalizes the nature, and that's why he is called the dreamer of the dreams. The dream quality of his poetry has its unique attraction for the readers even today also. His poems like Kubla Khan, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, and so on and so forth, take us closer to that supernatural elements in his poetry. Then P.B. Shelley, he himself was a great prophet. His famous poem, Ode to the West Wind, which is loved by almost all the readers of literature and the critics of the literature, this poem will sufficiently convince us to reach to the conclusion that he wanted to do a very important prophecy for the world. He was a great optimist, and that's why towards the end of the poem Ode to the West Wind, we have the great prophecy of P.B. Shelley, where he says that if winter comes, can spring be far behind. As far as John Keats is concerned, a great lover of the Middle Ages, we have his poem La Belle Dame sans Merci, which is the consummate representation of the love to the Middle Ages of John Keats. Then, thus, William Wordsworth, S.T. Coleridge, P.B. Shelley, John Keats, and Lord Byron. All these five poets contributed immensely for the poetic output during this period of Romanticism. These five poets, as I clarified in the beginning, that were the five finest flowers in the garden of English poetry, who had decorated it with their own beauty and fragrance. And so, the period of English Romantic movement cannot be forgotten, for poetry smiled like a freshly blossomed flower when came English Romanticism in the Muses Bower, when came English Romanticism in the Muses Bower. Thank you, friends.